Ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and in this week's episode, we'll be talking about the movie Prank. But of course, before we get to any of that, I am joined today by Energy Drink Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up, folks? I'm Energy Drink Nathaniel. Is that spelled like energy?
I wanted to spell it NRG just
Yeah.
for that sake, but since no one else is seeing the show notes, there's no point
Right.
of me spelling it that way,
Yeah.
actually. So I wrote it out, but in my mind, I saw N, the letter N, letter R, and letter G.
You didn't think we were...
Do you have a favorite energy drink, Nathaniel?
Ooh.
Are you a big energy drink guy, or have you ever been? Because I've gone in and out.
No. I can't say that.
Yo, we've had some juice.
No, that's what I would say. Like, I would not say that I'm a energy drink like once every 2 or 3 months. But there was times when I was living with Tyler where there was more like once every 2 or 3 weeks where we would get a monster juice.
A monster juice?
A juice.
Yeah, we'd just be like standing on like opposite sides of the store, and I'd be like, "Hey, juice." He'd be like, yeah."
And that is by far
7-Eleven, I'm assuming.
No, it was
and
right up at the.
they had them at Best Buy too.
Yeah.
Oh, that store. Gotcha. I
Mhm.
thought you just meant
Yeah.
like when you guys were living together.
No. When we all still worked there.
Yeah. The good old days.
But that would definitely, I think, be my favorite flavor if I had to pick one.
Gotcha.
As well too.
Juice is good.
Yeah.
Is that the blue one?
No, it's the orange and it's blue and orange.
Yeah. But it's like mango flavored.
Yeah, right. That's probably my favorite monster for sure. Might be my favorite energy drink. That is my go-to, is the blue and orange. Very good, very good. Anyone else? Blake?
I'm not a big energy drinker guy.
No.
I mean, like occasionally I'll have like Red Bull, but that's usually like with alcohol, right? That's probably
Sugar-free
the
Red
last...
Bulls are a pretty big go-to for Lee and I.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine that's the last probably 10 to 20 times I've had an energy drink is probably along with alcohol.
Fair.
But I do
Red Bull
remember.
they get you going.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said vodka Red Bulls though. They get you going.
Oh yeah. See. Does anyone remember the Nas energy drinks? Do they still make those?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember Nas.
Yeah. Nas is still big. Nas is also like mango orange kind of flavored.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I remember drinking those.
Yeah, Adam. My like go-to drink when I was in like my mid-20s was like it was called a VCR, and it's a vodka cranberry Red Bull, and I would just pound those.
That sounds delicious.
It is very good,
I might have to try that next time.
and
I
it's
go to the
cool
bar.
because VCRs are cool.
Yeah, you're right. That is cool. Yeah, I think I supplement where I would be drinking energy drinks with coffee. That's just my caffeine
Right.
intake typically. So, but I think you're kind of if you're a caffeine taker, you're kind of one of the two, either an energy drink or coffee.
I think it just depends on time of day.
That too. I'm never gonna have an energy drink past like 4:00. Like.
No,
Even
but
coffee,
I'd be pretty hard pressed to have a coffee after like 4:00 too.
Yeah, I was gonna say even coffee.
I couldn't see
will
myself
do a
like
coffee.
slamming a juice or something at like 9 a.m.
True.
Like Brian used to just like grab a Monster in the morning and just like chug them, and I'm like, dude, it's like 10:30. Like, what the fuck are
Right,
you
and
doing with
Monster
your
also
body?
has that like really crappy coffee Java one. It's terrible.
I did do some of those sometimes at work.
Well, that's like the only coffee option if you want coffee. It was that or
Dunkin' Donuts.
like the Dunkin' Donuts ones, which were equally not great.
Yeah.
And both had levels of sugar content that I don't even want to think about.
So anyways, I'm Energy Nathaniel.
Yes. Also joined today by Skydive Tyler Berdalis.
Have you guys ever been skydiving?
I was just about to ask you that. I personally have not. I think I would do it though. I don't
For
know.
sure, I'm with Adam. I haven't done it, but I would. A close buddy of mine has done it. And that kind of gave me enough courage to be like, you know what? I'll fucking do that shit one day.
And I don't like
you know?
heights, but I feel like I could get myself together enough to be like, I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah, I think it's one of those.
Kinda
I'd
like
like to just
roller
do it once
coaster.
and
Mhm.
just say I did it. You know, experience something.
Right.
Have you, Ty? Wouldn't be shocked if you've done it.
I haven't.
That would be a very
Okay.
Thai thing to do.
But Leah's mom a couple years ago said that she wanted to do it for her birthday, and then a bunch of stuff came up between like brothers and sisters having kids and stuff like that. So it's definitely something that we plan on doing. Leah's gone before.
Really?
yeah.
How did that? Do you know how
Mhm.
the story behind
Yeah.
that? She doesn't seem like the skydiving type.
She loved to do. She's actually super adventurous. She'll go out and do a bunch of stuff, and especially when she was like in her college years, she
Yeah.
was always out doing stuff. She loves to travel, and so she's definitely
Okay.
more well versed in traveling and doing some experiences than myself. But yeah, she loved it. She wants to go again. I definitely want to go. So yeah, definitely something I would do for sure.
On the list, yeah.
Yeah.
Nathaniel walked away. I don't know if he's been skydiving. That would also be something where I'd be like not terribly surprised if Nathaniel was just like, oh yeah, when I was in London study abroad, everyone was like, oh, you got to go here or something like that. He had one of those stories.
I can
Nathaniel
almost
skydiving.
guarantee he hasn't been skydiving, and I don't know if he would go. I think he might just be like, meh, maybe fuck that too, though.
Nathaniel care to comment?
I think he's trying to unmute.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yes, it looks like he's having some mic issues. We'll have to pause for station identification here. Yeah, I don't know. See, that's the thing though, is like skydiving to me isn't one of those things where you kind of just come across it. It's kind of got to be, you kind of got to seek it out. And I don't know when I'll ever be in the mood to be like, I really want to go skydiving or something like that. I have to be probably on like a vacation somewhere or something. Well, hello, listeners. I don't know what the last thing you heard was, but had some audio problems, but we're back. I don't know what we were talking about. We're just gonna move on. I think rounding out the squadron, we got to get to Big Cat Blake over there. Big Heartbeat Blake is what we went with this.
Wow,
one.
okay.
Like, yeah,
Okay,
Big
for
Heartbeat
sure.
Blake. Big
I'll take it, man.
motif in the big motif in the film. I don't
Yeah,
even know.
yeah.
I don't really want to use the word motif in this film in the same sentence. So, but yeah, big thing in this film. How you doing though, Blake? How's your week going so far?
Good, man. Good. Got to have you over yesterday and watch Crank. You
Yes,
feel me?
sir. Yes, sir.
So,
That was fun.
yeah, we got down
Good
on
spot you
that.
got over there, dude. Really
Thank you,
nice,
man.
really nice place.
Thank you. So we did that. Ordered some Chick-fil-A. He's got to see the vinyl collection.
Nice.
A few of the
Yes.
action figures I got going over there. Godzilla.
Yeah, it was all looking slick.
So cool.
spot,
Oh, yeah, man. It's all
Yeah,
it's all
was good.
good. Unfortunate the weather dropped, but oh well.
Well, hey, we were okay. Although I've seen, what was the final count and how many tornadoes there were? I saw like quite a few.
Oh, see, I didn't pay attention to that. I just knew the one that touched down off in the States.
I think it was
Yeah,
like
I heard
3.
Where was the other
I
two?
saw 11 is the highest that I saw.
wow.
11, yeah,
Holy
I'm
shit.
seeing 11 tornadoes in the Chicagoland area. All like almost nothing, it seems.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, they were all like pretty small ones, but still, regardless, that's a lot for this area. Especially,
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
yeah. And we got some hail when we were watching the movie. There was some hail coming down, but that was about it. After that, it kind of just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't like that big of a thing.
Was it still raining when you were driving home?
No, it stopped at
By
that
then,
point.
it
And it
was
like was
done.
drizzling kind of by the time I got home.
Yeah.
But it was like the downpour had already passed. Yeah. Yeah, we had I think we were about to start the movie, or already had it on, and then the tornado sirens went off.
Yeah.
And Blake's like, should I close those doors? Because we had the doors open since it was nice out. I was like, yeah, maybe. Might be a good idea just in case.
Yeah, and then we kind of had a small conversation about like how obedient are you to tornado sirens? Like growing up in the Chicagoland area, it's like I hear them, just kind of like, oh, it's bad weather outside, and it doesn't change anything I'm doing like in the current, which probably isn't the greatest. Right.
As long as I'm inside, like I'm cool. Like I'm not really concerned. No, it's probably not the greatest, especially after when I saw that there were 11 touchdowns after the conversation we had. How about how we're immune to tornado sirens? I was a little concerned after I saw that 11. I was like, all right, maybe it's not as far-fetched as I make it out to believe.
Right, for sure.
But regardless, I mean, I don't think we're seeing any E5s in this area. I don't think it's going to be kind of hard for something to build up to that size. But hey, you never know. It shouldn't, knock on wood, of course.
We've seen stranger things, but yeah, I
agree.
But yeah, all good, man. All good. How's your week?
Good, man. It's been good so far. Yeah, can't complain. Just been a long week. Robbie Gold is now the head coach of my former high school. And so obviously since I work for that district, it's been a busy week in terms of media stuff, and very good week in terms of like experience. It's been great. Kind of getting a hands-on media press conference kind of thing set up, and really good experience on that front, but also very busy. And the rest of the week is shaping up to be very busy as well. So, but hey, busy is better than boring,
That's what they say.
For
sure. Yeah. Shout out Robbie Gold and Rolling Meadows High School.
Yeah, there you go. Home of the Mustangs. Awesome. Mustangs pride. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on into the main review segment here, fellas. What everyone here is here for. Nathaniel, if the listener here is new or maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how the review segment works?
What up, folks? If you're new or maybe you've just forgotten, the way that the review segment works here on Back Row Banter is it is split into two sections. There's the non-spoiler section, and there's the spoiler section. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go around the squadron and decide if we recommend this movie. It's got to be a yes or no. We'll tell you about the movie itself from its IMDb page. We'll go over the summary, who's in it, who wrote it, who directed it, all that good stuff. In spoiler time, don't worry about it. We got a spoiler noise, so if you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, you can go ahead and check out. But during spoiler times, we'll go deeper into spoilers, any big plot twists, all that good stuff. And if you don't want, even if you do check out, come back, check the show notes, and to see where we rank it up on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast, ranked. With that being said, Adam, tell me about Crank.
Normally, this is where I'd say I'd love to, but to give you a precursor to my thoughts, I'm not super excited to be going over this movie. But anyway, let's see here. We've got Crank 2006, rated R, with a runtime of 1 hour and 28 minutes and an IMDb rating of 6.9 out of 10. Directed by Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor. I'm not too familiar with either of these guys. Neveldine was the writer of the movie Gamer. If you guys remember that, I think isn't that the one where
they both directed it as well too? That was another one.
Yeah, it was probably both of them. I hadn't looked at the other ones. But yeah, Gamer. Isn't that the one where he's like he's in prison and
Gerard Butler's the Gamer.
Yep.
Yeah, right. It's a playthrough. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, but I just remember that being a big thing in what was that? 2009. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not too familiar with the other stuff as I'm looking at it, but yeah, they wrote and directed it. It stars Jason Statham, and that's pretty much all I recognize or all you really need to know. It's a Jason Statham action movie. Amy Smart, Carlos Sanz, Jose Pablo Cantillo, and here's who else I'm gonna shout out is Efren Ramirez, who you may remember is Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, there's a lot
he's back.
There's a lot of hey that guys from the early thousands in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of other ones besides him. So if you guys have more you want to shout out,
we got Glenn Howard from It's Always Sunny is in here.
So that is him from Always Sunny.
Talk about that now. Yeah.
Blake and I went to Blake. I was like, I recognize that guy. And then Blake was like, I think it's the guy from Always Sunny. And I'm like, I think so too, but I haven't seen it enough to know. And we didn't care to look that guy up.
Right.
Only Pedro. But okay, I'm glad we were right then, Blake.
And
That
then
makes sense.
our other guy Hector from Fast and Furious.
Yep, he's in there for a minute.
Hector. Oh, I know who you're talking about. The dude at the start of the race.
Yep.
Got it.
Did you
Okay.
guys we must have it must have just lagged out for a second. Did you guys say Eddie Gethagy?
Oh no, we
I don't
didn't say that yet, but that's another one as well
Mhm.
too.
Yep. X-Men.
Who's he in X-Men?
He's Darwin in X-Men First
Darwin,
Class.
yeah.
But he's in a lot of
Okay.
different stuff too. He's another famous that guy.
He has been, yeah, but I think that was probably one of his first ones that I saw him in, at least.
For sure.
Gotcha. All right. Well, more people than I was familiar with, at least. But Jason Statham is the one name.
Is
That
Chev
keeps him in there.
Chelios.
He's
Chef Chelios, baby.
Chelios, which is probably one of the greatest names
It's
of any character I've ever heard.
tells you,
Chef Chelios is
Right.
is a fantastic name.
tells you everything you need to know right there.
Right. The IMDb summary reads as follows. Professional assassin Chev Chelios learns his rival has injected him with a poison that will kill him if his heart rate drops. That's
Crank,
also
baby.
all you need. That's also all you need to know. The movie starts there and then just goes. Kind of doesn't really stop because you know why? Chev Chelios can't stop.
That's
Just
right.
got to keep going.
Simplicity.
going.
Speed.
Yeah.
You know, Mad Max Fury Road ran because Crank walked.
Mm,
Mm,
I don't know
Tell 'em.
about that.
tell him.
Don't know if
I agree.
fully agree. This
Yes.
is my my first watch. Who else? Have you all three of you guys seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen it, and like I was telling Adam, when we kind of like first kicked it on. This was almost a first watch for me, where I've seen it on like Stars or HBO or Showtime in like 2008, right? Like just like sitting on the couch in my parents' house watching it, but I couldn't tell you. There'd be no way for me to differentiate this between the second one and the first one until I watched them. Then I'm like, oh, okay. I remember certain scenes, and then that's when I was able to piece together that I've seen the first one because there were certain scenes that I was able to call back to. Now, have I seen the second one? I don't know, right? But it's one of those where like, I feel like I have, and I'm sure I have, but it would be a first watch again for me if I were to go to the second one. So, yeah, I would say effectively no, not a first watch, quote unquote, but damn near, dude. I haven't seen this thing in probably 12 years.
Okay.
I watched this so much when it originally came out that
Oh yeah.
I had a Motorola Razr that had the ringtone of his phone.
Oh,
on
that's
it,
awesome. Yeah.
and it was like my favorite ringtone that I had for the longest time.
That's dope.
And it had such like a little cult following that like whenever you were around, people were like, "Is that Craig?"
Yeah, right. That's funny.
This is, I think, my second time seeing it in full. Similar to
Sure.
Blake, it's one I've caught like in the middle of on Stars, like in 2011, probably 3 or 4 times. You know, as well as just not being 100% sure which one's Crank and which one's Crank High Voltage. But I did not remember it being as stylish as it is. And there's a lot of this one where I was rewatching it that I felt like I was watching it for the first time, particularly with like Efren Ramirez's character and everything like that as well too. So yeah, been a while. So coming back.
Sorry, I'm waiting for Tyler to say it's been a while.
I didn't catch it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It was
man.
mid-sentence flow.
See, now you
My bad.
Pavloved me to expect
Well,
you to say it.
You should have taken the reins.
No, I can't. It's your thing. I was waiting
See the
for you to do it.
opportunity.
Someday it's gonna get
Man.
passed, and you're gonna have to take it.
Well, yeah. Now I'm. It's like I'm already there. Like he
You
said
should.
that, and it was unfortunate that my thought was that song and you sing it. So
No,
anyway,
it's fortunate that your thought is that song. It's unfortunate that you didn't take advantage of the opportunity.
That's right.
you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a huge fan of this movie.
I figured that much.
What? Yeah. What? Break it down for me. I want to hear. Here, I thought because coming out of last week, I felt like we had convinced you that this movie is like, it's Dudes Rock, the movie.
Right. Basically,
I just I don't know. I don't have nostalgia for it. It wasn't something I watched. I maybe
Sure.
would have enjoyed this if I was, saw it between the ages of 10 to 14 or something like that.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think there's been too much since this that I would identify more with, that I like more. I don't know. Hasn't aged particularly well. I mean, it aged well in the sense that like I think this is a very 2006 movie. And like aesthetically, like if you were to pick out, if you were to like have 2006 and need to manifest that in an aesthetic, like everything in this movie is
Yeah.
how that would feel. And so that I can appreciate it for that. But in terms of everything that happens in this movie, it's just kind of whatever. I don't. Everything kind of just goes, and it's I don't. The action's not all that entertaining in my opinion. Chev Chelios is kind of cool until there's some not so great. Well, I'll just say it like rape culture stuff in this movie almost. Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
It's I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that that's in the movie. Yeah, I just wasn't enjoying myself. The acting wasn't great. And I know it's not supposed to be a movie for the acting. The effects were, like I said, haven't, in my opinion, aged all that well. And like, I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Wasn't for me personally.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I kind of figured that. I even picked up that vibe a little bit watching it with Adam. So, like we said, me and Adam watched it together last night. But then also, effectively going into it, like I didn't quite think this would even be up Adam's alley for the most part. But then part of me is like, to Nathaniel's point, it's like, well, this movie is like this movie is John Wick made in the 2000s, right? This movie to me on rewatch, this movie is like fucking Grand Theft Auto but put into a film. Like basically is what I look at.
That's kind of a good way to put it.
For sure. He's going around just taking different cars. The police are after him. He's in a fucking Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah.
Like 90% of the movie. You know what I mean? So like it's just, to Daniel's point, it's a dude's movie. It's a bros movie. So yeah, I was kind of curious what Adam would take away. But yeah, there's a few things in there, as he's saying, that don't age the greatest. I remember, ironically, right, the teenage boy brain of mine. I remember the sex scene, but being now a conscious, functional adult, I didn't realize how kind of weird, like rape culture some of those lines are.
Yeah.
Right, when you're watching it, I was kind of like, ooh, a little strange. There's a few F-bombs in the movie too. So like that's the stuff that doesn't necessarily age the greatest, but like that's just how people spoke to each other in 2005.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what
right.
I mean?
That's yeah.
So yeah, I hear you on that, but yeah, not surprising to say the least. Adam's takeaway is not surprising. I don't think I'm on that side. Now, I don't think I'm on the complete polar opposite where I'm like, this is my favorite movie ever, right? Certainly not that. But I would say it did enough where I was like, you know what? I may try to watch the second one in the next few weeks.
Right.
And like just to be like, fuck it. I wonder what the second one's talking about. So we'll see. We'll jump into some stuff with spoilers, but yeah, that's my quick takeaway.
Yeah. I think I would agree with Blake a little bit more, and maybe it is kind of like an age thing or like just how long this movie's been around for me. Obviously, like you guys said, there is some lines in there that are a little more rough around the edges nowadays. But I guess I will always kind of be on the the side of if it's like a movie that's trying to portray something or something that was made at a certain time period, if it's like a comedian standing on a stage doing something or saying something, or if it's like music. Obviously there's words in music that you wouldn't say as either a certain race or something like that. I always kind of give it the benefit of the doubt, trying to see that it's supposed to be part of the aesthetic of the movie or whatever they're trying to tell. So yeah, I guess I didn't catch too much of that, especially like back in the day when I was watching it. It was just part of the movie. You didn't really pick up on it because it was just there. Nowadays, obviously, you got to be a little bit more careful with what you say and kind of what you do. But yeah, I think I'm on a little bit more of the side of Blake there with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't think you get a lot of movies that are kind of around today, or kind of some of the aesthetic or kind of some of the shots that this has in it, without this movie. And I think it definitely has still a little bit pizzazz behind it. But I think it's one of those movies that's definitely a popcorn movie. It knows what it is. It's fun as shit. But yeah.
Yeah, I think picking up where we're kind of like the elder statesmen of the squadron have left off here. Like, depiction is not endorsement, obviously. And I think there's, upon rewatch of this movie, which for me, like, again, is in some ways like a first time viewing, like this movie felt like it was tongue in cheek enough and like kind of knew it was almost like a satire enough that like I didn't really take it as a movie or the events of the movie all that seriously. That being said, to both what I think like Adam and Tyler hit on, I was a big fan of kind of like the MTV music video editing style and like lighting setup, as well as like camera movement and almost also just like general pastiche of like different graphics that they're like throwing on the screen at different times. Like at one point the side of a building like bulges as like an in-camera CGI effect kind of thing. Or like I love the fact that like it's whenever they're traveling somewhere, you'll get a Google 2006 with the Google 2006
For
copyright
sure.
burned onto
was
it
really
as well
cool.
too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it just, I think like it operates in the world that it has created for itself enough for me as a viewer to kind of like suspend my disbelief on, what is realistic in any way or anything. For God's sakes, the movie's called Crank. It's about a guy whose heart rate can't drop, right? Like there's definitely things that set it in 2006, and some of those are some of the jokes and some of those are some of the language used and that kind of thing. But this is what I wish like Netflix movies were, or something like that,
Oh man.
where it's just like it is a like high concept, small cast, small budget, hour 20 minutes, like, but weird punchy ideas that you would get together, right? And where like let Jason Statham be the movie star. Let him do the quips and like the actions and like, let that happen. This is what these things should be. I miss these movies.
Yeah, this is like the human version of Speed.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think Speed was like 1995 or 1996 or something like that.
If not earlier.
This is like the human version of that.
Yeah, I don't hold, and I want to say I don't like hold it against the movie, the stuff that's included with it. I just think it's important. I don't want to prop this movie up and perpetuate that kind of, I don't know.
No, I think
It's
it's important to obviously point those things out, especially because we obviously have a listener base or a viewer base, whatever you guys want to call yourself, listeners. But yeah, you obviously don't want to predicate that we're like saying this movie's fucking awesome and there's nothing to worry
Right.
about, and like go watch it with your significant other, and then next thing you know, we're pointing you in the wrong direction, and that's obviously not your style. So
It's not just this movie that has that stuff in it. You know, it
No.
is a product of the time kind of thing. But it is important to acknowledge it's there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
100%.
just I think I would have a fonder spot for this. Like I said, if I was, watching this 10 to 13, because this would have come out 2006. I mean, that would have been for you guys probably between the ages of like 12 to 18 for you guys. Yeah. I mean, that's not about right.
2006, I would have been 14.
There you go.
11.
16.
There you go. I was pretty close. So yeah, I think if I had seen that kind of this kind of thing around that time, I'd probably have a fonder spot for it. But this is not one where I kind of look back on or watch from where I'm like, oh, I really have been missing Crank in my life. How could I have never seen this before?
No, like we said, anytime you go kind of like backwards in time with movies, you get to kind of see where movies come from. And since you have a bigger appreciation for something like John Wick or, like the Mad Maxes
right.
of the world, like you've already got something that's a better product than what this is. So it's a little bit of a turn from there. But yeah, it's and not to say that you don't have appreciation for older movies, because you do. Obviously, when we started this whole thing, you were like, oh, fucking 1970s movies are fucking trash, and now we've got you turned on a little bit of things. So
yeah,
obviously, things change and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely a product of its time for sure.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any other big non-spoiler things to go over? Obviously, it's been quite a while since this movie debuted, so and I don't even know how much plot there is to spoil. But
Yeah, right.
Do we want to just get into it real quick here?
Yeah, we'll hop into
Are you
it.
three all recommends?
I'm a recommend.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I'm not a recommend. I think the one thing it's got going for it, it's only like 90 minutes, but to me, this felt like the longest 90-minute movie I've ever watched.
Watching this with Adam was an experience because I was just like, I don't think he's fucking with this at all.
Right.
I mean, there were things here and
yeah.
there where I was kind of laughing.
Cracking up in this, watching it earlier.
So was I. I kept laughing too. And
I was laughing.
I was
laughing. Yeah.
Particularly the fuck it. Let's go to spoilers. But I do want to say the funniest thing that I'll chat about it. Go ahead.
All right, spoiler time.
Yeah, let's just get into spoilers. Yeah, spoiler time here, fellas and listeners. So go ahead and check the episode description. You know the jazz. What were you gonna say, Blake?
Yeah. So right now we're talking about things that are just for kind of small, funny blips in the movie, right? And how it's got a lot of comedic undertones. And then Nathaniel asked me, like, did we have any difficulty trying to rewind on Peacock? Right. And I was like, I don't believe so. Because me and Adam only ended up rewinding once, and it was the scene after the hospital, and then
which is playing right now in the background.
Oh, yeah. And it's the sketch, the cry sketch of what he looks like is fucking hilarious, bro. I was crying. I had to go back and rewind it just to look at the sketch, and that may be the funniest,
so funny.
the most non-comical funny thing I've seen in a movie in so fucking long, dude. That was funny.
It's like a full-blown like caricature.
Yeah.
Well, I love the bit too where he finally takes the adrenaline in the elevator, and then like the camera just cranks up, and you see him just pelt out of the elevator and just run like 8 blocks afterwards.
He's like running on top of cars and shit. Like, yeah, this movie's pretty fun, man. I would watch the second one. Like I said, it did enough.
Yeah, like I don't know. It was definitely on this rewatch where I was like, this movie rules. Like,
I think you also get like your kind of like your first viewing of like the POV kind of like hand cam shot that you've kind of ever really seen.
The first person.
Yeah, in like our timeline. And so like that was something that was like kind of like revolutionary. You're like, damn, like this is like what he's seeing. It's and like you're like so into like first person video games, and so it's cool to kind of get that bit for the first time from like a film perspective too.
No, for sure. That's something me and Adam kind of pointed out. I was like, oh man, like forgot you get the first person stuff in this as well.
Yeah.
Where I don't know
Literally
what comes
2006
first.
thing.
Yeah, right. And I don't know what comes first between this or the Doom movie, not Dune, not Dune.
I'm pretty sure it's this.
DOOM. Right, but that was immediately the first thing I thought of when I saw that.
Yeah,
I thought of
100%.
Yeah. And I was like, that's really the first time I remember like seeing shit like that. So yeah, good point, Ty. Yeah, it's,
Doom
innovative.
was 2005.
Okay,
Oh, there you go.
same time basically.
Yeah,
Same time.
yeah.
But yeah, so
think
he
it
just goes through a
actually-
series of a bunch of outlandish stuff. He's got a cool name, like I said. He's in a fucking tracksuit with a gold chain on.
Yeah.
It's GTA.
He's got a Desert Eagle.
Yeah, this is fucking
For half the
GTA,
movie.
fellas.
Well,
Yeah.
I was reading about it up earlier, and apparently GTA was a big influence on it. Basically.
oh really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The filmmakers have been like, "Yep, that was a thing." Like, we definitely did.
This makes sense because at this point, when's GTA 3? Right, that's probably like 2002, 2003.
gotta
So
be right
it's probably like
around.
Vice City,
Yeah.
right? Vice City's probably around this time.
Yeah, I think 04 is Vice City. So
Yeah.
something like that.
Adam, you cannot deny that Jason Statham is giving 110% in this one as well, too.
No,
he is,
all in.
Just
And that
selling
was
it.
another conversation that Blake and I were having. He asked me where, like, what was my Jason Statham staple, or like, what do I know Jason Statham for? And I was telling him, like, I don't really have a good reference. I have always just known Jason Statham as who he was after these kind of like 2000s movies. Like, I've only ever kind of known him as like Jason Statham
The Fast
in
and Furious
Fast
edition.
and Furious,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, yeah, right. And like, I know he's an action star, but I couldn't really tell you.
You never saw
Why,
the
or, like,
Transporter.
I've never seen Transporter. no.
Yeah, that's the other one too. Never saw the
That's,
Transporter.
That's what I'm thinking of too, because I was trying to think of myself. I was like, what the fuck do I know Jason Statham from? Then I was like, is it Crank? And I was trying to piece it together, and I think it's actually Transporter is the series that I'm missing.
Yeah,
When I
yeah,
was
for
thinking about
sure.
it. Yeah, for sure. So okay, go ahead, Adam. Sorry to cut
No,
you.
I was just gonna say, like, yeah. So I agree. He's being about as Jason Statham as I now understand Jason Statham can be, and I appreciate him for that, you know. But he is kind of the only good performance in the movie. I don't know who plays the. I don't know if it's Reno Wilson here as I'm looking. He goes to the club and asks the black dude that he holds hostage in the bathroom.
Sure.
That guy was killing it. That guy was killing it. I forgot. I don't even know if we get his character's name, so I'm trying.
I don't
Have
know
a
either.
great way of pointing out who's the actor's name is. But he was really fun and charismatic when he was on the screen for all of a couple minutes. But he caught my attention. But besides him, it's kind of just Jason Statham.
I think Amy Smart's good in this.
Yeah, she's
I'm
fine.
shouting it
She's
out.
just, her character's kind of just dumb blonde, kind of,
Right,
you know,
for sure.
insert
Yeah,
female
I
actor
don't know,
spirit, you know,
like,
kind of.
I guess I feel like, again, like in this one, there seems to be like more of like a wink and a nod in that. Like it's almost more satire. And I feel like maybe it's also because like I'm seeing this now, thinking of it coming out in 2006 with the benefit of all of the like, there were so many of these style action movies that came out around that time as well too. That like maybe I'm not necessarily having nostalgia for this one, but I'm like seeing what this one is kind of like making fun of in some of those other ones as well too. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I'm not just talking.
Yeah,
nonsense?
that makes sense. I just can't relate to you on the same level where like I haven't
Oh,
seen
of course. I
as
think
many of those style action movies.
I
Yeah.
remember thinking like having seen this at like a long time ago, and then rewatching it. Just remember finding her character and her performance in this actually pretty good as far as the like kind of character that you're talking about. You know, stereotypical blonde girlfriend character in that
Right.
action movie franchise.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with you on that kind of point.
Like, I'll bet you she's better than whoever's in Gamer.
That's very true. Is Gamer worth watching? Have you guys seen that?
No, I don't even know what that is. Is that a movie? Is that a show?
It's a
It's a
movie.
movie. by the same directors. I remember wanting to see it when I was in whatever grade that would have been, second or third grade, because I was just big into video games. I was like, oh, it's a movie where a guy's in a video game. I want to see it. And my parents did not let me, obviously.
I like the
Yeah.
MTV video effects editing of this one too, as well. Where like when he's feeling pain, there'll be like a bright flash on the screen or something like that, or like in the background he just stuck his hand in the waffle iron and like it like goes red for a second and stuff like that. Like I do appreciate that kind of style now, especially I feel like again when we just live in Netflix land where everything's gray and flat and all looks the same because it's all shot on a soundstage.
Right, and sometimes you get like those
valid.
quick cuts when he's like the opening scene where he's like viewing the DVD.
Yeah.
Which is
there'll be,
also
like-
just funny. The DVD says "fuck you" written on it.
Right,
and he
yeah,
puts it
like-
in.
yeah.
you know, just small stuff like that. And then after he watches it, he screams, and it's all like the quick cuts of him screaming, and then it just
Yeah.
cuts to the next scene.
And there's
So
like the
stuff like that,
freeze
you don't
frames
get anymore.
and like exactly.
Yeah.
It's this exercise in style and like this just like this is a movie. You're here watching a movie. Enjoy it, you fuckers. Instead of
Yeah.
like here's something on your phone to occupy your time for 10 minutes.
Yeah, they just don't make movies like this anymore. Like the last movie I can think of that's like the really stylized 2000s action type of shooter is like when's Wanted? Is Wanted post 2010?
I think that's 2011.
That's like-
maybe.
So yeah.
Okay, that's probably the first thing I can pull off the top of my head in terms of them still making like over the top action movies. Oh, well, I guess
like,
John Wick,
He
right?
just
That's probably the quick answer.
he just battled the guy at the fence, and it just cuts to him like hitting the guy's hand against the fence, and then just cuts to some lady's bird exploding. Like,
Yeah, I did. I thought that was hilarious. Actually,
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
Wanted was 2008.
Oh wow!
So
Oh, wow.
Earlier than I
Okay.
thought.
Earlier than I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Nathaniel, you kind of pointed it out with like the editing style of this. The other thing I will point out is the filters. I think they did an awesome job with being able to kind of use the filters in the right times. Like you kind of said, when he's in pain or when he is hitting his peak adrenaline rushes and stuff like that. So yeah, the filters I think were absolutely awesome in this.
Oh yeah! Shout out lead singer of Linkin Park as well too, showing up in the pharmacy.
Oh, you see, I would have never pieced that together.
Yeah,
Is that the person?
the guy that's like nasal spray? It'll tweak you out. That's Linkin.
Oh, okay.
That's Linkin Park's lead singer.
Yeah, that's funny. That's something I never would have pieced together. Yeah, man, this movie's just got a lot of small like quirks that are just really, really funny, man. And I didn't realize how stylized it was till rewatch.
Right.
I just remember it just being like, as Nathaniel would say, just being like batshit crazy. Like I knew that concept. Do you know what I mean? Wholeheartedly, but I didn't know how over the fucking top it was.
Right.
But the only thing that really set me back a ton was definitely the sex scene, as Adam was talking about earlier,
yeah.
where I didn't realize how like it was. At first, I'm kind of like, "Ooh, this is a little strange."
Yeah.
And there's like people in the background like
Yeah.
cheering. It's like nuts. It's an insane concept.
Well,
Like, not that we should be laughing at
They-
that. Right?
they,
But
like,
that's
pull it
obviously
back.
a serious matter.
Yeah, they definitely like pull it back from the edge where she like at one point does give like enthusiastic, okay, well then let's get it on kind of thing.
Yeah, right. And she
right.
finally gives that, and then you're like, okay, as the viewer, you can give in.
Right.
But prior to that, it was like, oh, this is a little
yeah,
weird.
this is a little rapey. Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely was not trending in the right direction there for a bit, and then I
Mhm.
mean that's where I think you're either on board with the movie at that point, or you're
Oh, for sure.
you're
for sure.
like, you know, that's it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely like. There's a part of me though that's just like, fuck, man. Like I'm glad they, like at least they went there. You know, like if you're like my movie is Crank, my whole concept is you have to keep your heart rate up. Okay, spitball ideas. What would you do to keep your heart rate up? You're gonna come out with a list of like 4 or 5 things, and then that's what you
Right.
structure your movie around. Like, and you can like
Right.
kind of see the work going in there for, and then to their credit, they don't, shy away from any ideas.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
just
for
decide to push the envelope a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I
For
think
sure.
there's a huge dose of this of just being like, well, they would never make this nowadays, but it feels like that.
Mhm.
Like, it feels like now we get Bullet Train, which is a fun movie, but it's not as insane as Crank, right?
I mean, they could make something like this nowadays. It just wouldn't be able to include that kind of stuff, obviously.
No, yeah. But like it'd be like that. There was just a trailer out for, was it Boy Kills World, with Bill Skarsgård, and he's playing a mute kid that's been orphaned and is now going out and killing everyone, and like he's got an internal voice by H. John Benjamin. Looks funny. Or that Guns Akimbo from a couple years ago with Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, right.
Or something like that, right?
Are you saying we need to finance a movie and make a Crank style?
I'm saying we need the juice.
Spiritual sequel.
We need people with the juice, man.
Is that the title of our movie, The Juice?
I'm down.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, man, overall, there's just so many scenes that I found to be funny, even with I don't know the gentleman's real name, but the guy from Always Sunny with me and Adam. So I'm like, I think that's that guy.
Yeah.
But that whole hospital scene is fucking funny too. I mean, even like once you like sit back and actually like look at it and diagnose it, is like he fucking shocks him, right? Like, I don't know the correct term
Which
for the
wouldn't
medical
work
term.
in any way.
Yeah.
Right? Defibrillator.
Yeah, no, that would kill him.
Okay, defibrillator. Thank you. Right, but he also does that while Chef Chelios is pointing a fucking gun at him. It's just like that's the worst thing you could do is probably shock this guy right now. You know what I mean? And it's just funny shit like that, man. The
more than
police,
likely he's pulling the trigger when, like, as soon as that happens.
for sure. And then he shocks him and he flies like 20 feet back into the elevator.
That actually probably, I don't know if it'd be quite as the distance, but it definitely will fucking kick you.
Yeah. Yeah, so that shit was funny to see. I was like, oh man, that's pretty funny. And then the patient who's like they're transporting in the hospital is like bickering back with him.
Yeah.
I love the bit too. He's like, when he runs, similar when you're talking about when he sees the sketch or the caricature of himself at the news station. He's talking to the doctor. He's like, bet you got a boner like a steel, like, or you're rock hard or whatever. And he just looks over at the guy standing next to him as well too. And you just see the tenting at the front of the hospital gown, which he's just running bare-assed through all of that
for
as
sure.
well
Right,
too.
for sure. Yeah. The character sketch there, that was the funniest thing in this movie.
Character sketch was good.
That even the ending where they finally bring it to a head. I mean, the scene where it even had me at one point fooled, where you have Chev Chelios and he's speaking to what's the Hispanic guy, Verona, right? And then the other guy, I can't think of, drawing a blank, but they're on the rooftop and they're kind of sitting there. They've already pat him down to make sure he doesn't have any guns, and then he's just like pointing his makeshift finger at him.
Yeah, it's
right, like
guns.
in the stance or in the signal of a gun. And then Verona starts to get like a little weirded out, you know what I mean? And then somebody gets fucking shot right at. Then I was like, is this going where I think it's going? Like, you know what I mean? And then there's actually people behind him shooting. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. And it turns out to be what's the guy? Is it Don Kim or whatever the Korean like Kingpin?
Don Kim.
Yeah, Don Kim, the Korean Kingpin guy. But yeah, that was at first I was like, man, like this, I was like, I'm in, but like this is nuts if he's able to shoot people from his bare hand, right? And I kind of wish that would have been the case. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, I might have liked the movie more if
he had that power. Yeah,
is that he just suddenly grew the power to shoot bullets out of his fingers.
So yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
I will say I do get y'all's appeal to this movie. You know, I get it. It's just simply kind of just not for me. And I do appreciate, as we've already touched on, just the stylization of it. And how truly we don't get kind of movies taking these super huge kind of risks or I don't want to say pushing the boundaries, but kind of like testing where you can blend mediums between like a music video style of editing and the movie, and it was like very kind of, I wouldn't say revolutionary, but it was a very kind of like interesting time in terms of like video and editing and the digitization of video from the late 90s into the early 2000s and mid 2000s. Like this was almost uncharted territory, what you could do with special effects and computer CGI stuff. And so I do appreciate it for the fact that it is one of the movies and a prime example of like just trying to experiment where the CGI stuff and the filmmaking is going to blend, where the music editing or music video editing style and the movies can blend. I will give it its credit for that. It is trying some things here for sure.
There's another movie that uses the finger gun scene. It's I can't remember when it came out. I'm gonna look it up real quick, but it's called The Losers.
Yep, I remember that.
And
That's got to be like
this definitely came out
09,
after
11 or something like that.
2010. So yeah, this
2010,
came out after. So yeah, that's obviously probably it'd be cool if it was like a little nod of the head to Crank.
Homage.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, fucking Crank.
One of the best named movies I think ever.
I think I'm gonna change my ringtone again.
You think so?
For Jeff
It's so funny because like I've never like I don't remember like when the Switch came, but I never have my phone on loud anymore.
Sure, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
I don't think anyone really does. I think most
Vibrates
of default
enough.
is vibrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I got my Apple Watch in this, back in 2018, and like even now when I don't wear my Apple Watch, I'm not really turning on ringer. But like once I got the Apple Watch, it was for sure I'll never have my ringer on.
Yeah.
And now I'm never gonna do it.
Yeah, funny. Does anyone remember? So while we're on Crank, the second one is that the one where he like fucking hooks up to like a
To a what? You
second
cut
one?
out.
To a car battery
Yes.
or some sort of electric source,
Yes,
and he
because
puts
if
it.
I
Okay.
remember right, they like to solve the fact that his heart is dying. They give him they like swap him with like an electric heart or something like that. And then the next guys that come after him either like have removed the power source or like given him like a shitty power source instead, and that's where he's charged up to the electric battery.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I remember there's a scene in that where he like literally like jumper cables himself.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Funny. Is that also on Peacock by chance? Anybody
I
know?
checked. It's not. So I don't know
of course.
where Crank 2 is currently at.
To be gods, if you hear us.
Right.
What is Crank 2 called?
Crank high
Crank high
voltage.
For anything to be, you'd have
Crank
fucking
voltage.
High
Crank
voltage.
high voltage.
Come on, man. You think they'd settle for just a silly name like Crank Voltage?
My bad. It's not streaming anywhere other than to rent.
Yeah, Voodoo's $3.99 though.
Oh, the movie poster is him attaching a car battery or a jumper cable to his tongue.
Is it?
So,
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
I remember like either promos or something like that. Okay, for sure.
yeah, he's got
That's
the
funny.
jumper cable
He
on his
was
tongue.
dead. Now he's not. Jeff Chelios.
Jesus.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, man, I think that's about it. Any other closing thoughts, or we wanna rank it?
I think we can rank it.
Two.
I will
No,
just.
I'm kidding.
I will. Jesus Christ.
Adam would throw.
I will
a
say,
fit.
Chev Chelios is the best thing this movie has going for it. What a fantastic name. I strive. If I were to ever write a screenplay, I strive to have a name
As good as
cool
as good as that.
Jeff
Yeah, for
Chelios.
sure.
I don't think it'll top, to be honest. But
He's got some killer names in what he's acted in.
It's true.
What's his name in Fast and Furious?
is he Hobbs or
Shaw.
he's Shaw?
He's Shaw. He's
Okay. Okay, and me and Adam were trying to figure out what's his introduction to Fast and I don't believe it's Hobbs and Shaw, right? Because that's the
No, it's
spinoff, quote
it's-
unquote. It's the film before that, right? Is that the
It's
sixth?
6 or 7, right?
Well,
Seven.
he appears in the 6th one at the end. He's the
Okay.
the
That's
post credit screen in 6, but he's the main antagonist in 7.
Yeah, Expendables. His name is Christmas. His name
Obviously,
in
Handsome Rob.
Handsome Rob. Yep, that's a famous one.
What movie
Yeah,
is
dude,
Handsome
he's-
Rob?
The Italian Job.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got some great names.
Shout out Jason Statham. What's his nationality? Is he British?
I don't know. Let me try to find out. I'm looking at his IMDb. Yeah.
Shirebrook,
Derbyshire, England.
Yates,
English.
So yeah, he's English.
British national diving team. Interesting.
I would have never known that. He seems like a guy who would just like have weird accolades like that in his.
Dude, he was on it for 12 years. In 1992, he was ranked 12th in the world as a platform diver. That's insane.
What a guy!
I never would have guessed that.
What a
He's
guy!
also he was born in 1967, meaning he's in his late 50s now. Good for him. Good for you, Jason.
Baller.
Keep rocking out.
With
All right.
your crank out.
Keep cranking it out. Pause. Welcome back, listeners. Who skipped over the spoiler segment? We're gonna go ahead and crank up upon our entropy list. For those of you who do not know, our entropy list is a big list of all the movies we have reviewed. All right. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment. I don't know how that's gonna sound in the edit. We cut out again temporarily.
Well, I
but
think
we're back.
you'll still be recording. I just couldn't hear.
All right. Well, we didn't continue at all, so we paused. So there's gonna be a cut. So hello. Yeah, ranking upon our entropy list. I don't know where we cut out. I'll start from the beginning. Welcome back. Throwing up on the entropy list. It's our big list of all the movies we have reviewed, regardless of genre, rank, anything else. It's essentially how we rate our movies, I think is what I was saying before Daniel interrupted me. And if you want to see the entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description. All right, crank here, fellas.
You cranked that.
Also, great 2006 reference.
Thank you.
Anyone got an idea? I don't know where I want to put this thing.
No one's going to bat.
76.
76.
That's crazy.
That's above Dr. Sleep or below Dr. Sleep?
Above Dr. Sleep.
Okay.
You're
Below
crazy.
Terminator. I think there's a lot of movies on this list that you potentially just don't get the aesthetic of without this movie. Like I said, I do have a little bit of a bigger tie to this movie with it being around at my time age when it came around, and yeah, I just this is like Jason Statham's jumping off point to some of his bigger career moves, and this is just a big fat fucking popcorn adrenaline rush kind of movie, and it's fast paced, you don't stop, and I think it's thoroughly enjoyable. Do I think there's movies that are on this list that are below that are better than this? Sure, but I think this is a pretty big split, and there are just some movies that I won't allow this to go above, and Terminator is kind of one of those. Predator I had a hard time kind of passing up. But yeah, I think it'll obviously drop, but I think 76 is a good spot for it.
Okay. 76. I'm not happy about it, but okay. Is there anyone else in the double digits that dares to step forward? Because I'm certainly not.
Who's gone so far? Is it just
Just
Just me.
Just
Okay.
Ty.
And he's 76, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready yet. I'm not ready yet, guys. Because it is tough to rank.
I'm doing the math.
Yeah, it is tough to rank. I'm trying to figure out where I want it. I also want to semi account for Brave. So I mean,
You want to count for what? I'm sorry, you cut out.
I want to try to semi account for Adam burying this thing to fucking
Buried to the grave.
I'm not really equating for that. I just genuinely
Yeah, it's cheating.
Where I would put this on my list. I think that this is a really good kind of halfway point, and like I said, there's some trade-offs above and below, but I think it's a really good halfway point for me.
Okay. Thinking aloud. It's I don't think I can go as high as Ty, although I do like this, but I think Paid in Full at 80 is a hard pill to swallow. I think Blade at 83 is a hard pill to swallow. And then I think from 89 to 91%, I don't know if those are movies that are close to me, right?
Sure,
so I'm
right.
probably below those. But then from there, that I'm like, fucking Creed 3. I would watch this a million times before I watch Creed 3. Right? Well, I'll probably never rewatch Creed 3 again. And I guess I did just go 13 years without rewatching. But now that I've rewatched it, I'm back in, you know? So that's where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of looking at American Gangster put up there, Prey. I did like X, The Menu.
Prey's dope. X is dope.
Yeah. I think that's where I would call it. I think I'd call it at 92.
Above Soul, below Barbarian.
That's
Yes.
insane to me.
Bet.
I think that's where I'm calling it.
All right.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have this at 111. Between No Time to Die and Above Black Widow.
That's so much more reasonable. Thank you.
No way. Black Widow's
I don't
dog
think you.
shit.
I like. Are
That's
you?
what I'm
Guys,
saying.
did you
Black
guys
Widow
see?
fucking sucks, bro. No Time to Die is questionable. I will give you that. Right?
There's
That
a
is
lot
pretty
of
good
movies
action
where
film.
I'm can't believe you guys are putting this above.
I told you there's a lot of trade-off.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
again, I treat the Entropy list like every week that like this is the list that it's given, and I need to rank this like I would
Right.
put it on the list, right? And
Mhm.
there's definitely movies below this that I would think are better than it, given the option.
But there's a significant number of like really solid. Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right, I'll stop.
but there's a bunch of other movies up above it too that I don't think are kind of in the
Yeah,
same
that are
league.
pretty bad.
Yeah, as well. So yeah, 111 below No Time to Die, above Black Widow, kind of in that little action run there with like The Rock and Independence Day and Top Gun as well too, and that stuff. So 111 for me. Adam,
That's a good spot.
crater this bad boy so we can move on.
I think I know where
Yeah.
it's going. I want to hear it.
Oh wait. Can I get a recap of all of our rankings? 76 and 92. Was it 92, Blake?
Well, yeah, 76, 92, and I believe 111.
111, yeah.
Yeah.
111. All right. Certainly this is no higher. And I want to bury this lower, but I won't for your guys' sake.
No, you can let it rip, man. It's
I
your
was
ranking.
saying, yeah, do whatever you want. I don't take, like I said, I don't take into effect what you guys are gonna pick. And I'll always try to do my best to not do the math, even if I know you guys are gonna bury something that I like. Like I could care less. Like that's just the nature of the beast of the list.
Then if my honest ranking, and again,
Yeah,
I do
do you, boo-boo.
apologize, whoever this offends, is going to be 144 below The Flash and above Halloween Ends.
I'm sorry, you said 144?
144 below The Flash.
Oh,
No
that's
way.
higher than I thought. Higher than I
Halloween
thought you
Ends.
say though.
No way I'm watching the Flash
Yeah.
before I watch this ever again.
I like The Flash. Y'all are crazy.
Ugh.
Ew.
It's not that
Yeah.
bad.
Fuck
There are
Ezra
much
Miller.
worse DC movies, dude.
All my
I
homies
mean,
hate
yes,
Ezra
yes,
Miller.
agreed. All my homies hate Ezra Miller. I'm not, that aside. But hey,
Sure.
you know, it's still, I don't know. It is what it is, but it's still somewhat of a decent movie. I don't know.
Okay.
Like we have
One
Doctor
for-
Strange at 59. Like you're crazy.
This is true.
Doctor Strange is decent, man.
This is also true.
I like
Doctor
Doctor
Strange
Strange, and
was
Rebecca
decent.
Ferguson's awesome in that. It's got a good
Yeah,
scene
she
where they're
is.
they're
You're thinking of
spoiler
You're
alert.
thinking of Doctor
The
Sleep.
baseball boy.
No.
Oh yeah, I'm
No.
tweaking.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna say.
Doctor Strange is still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, boo.
Almost every
Doctor
time.
Strange fucking sucks.
I'm like
For
the first
sure.
person to come to bat to a Marvel movie. is
Yeah,
Blake
for
right now. What's
sure.
happening?
Doctor Strange blows for sure, bro. For sure. Where's that ranked, by the way?
59.
Ew. Yeah, that's way too high.
Speaking of way too high, fellas, Crank's ranking will land us at a 105.75, meaning we have to put it above or below the creator.
No,
I'm assuming above for you guys.
above. Yeah.
I'll go.
Actually,
I
the
can deal
creator's
with
not
above.
that bad.
The
Yeah, I
creator's
like
not
the
that
creator.
bad either.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Creator's
We
kinda
may have to
cool.
take that one to IMDb ratings.
I go with creator above Crank. That's not a big deal.
I also go with creator above Crank, but I wouldn't be mad if y'all want to go the other way.
I'll stick with my final gut or my first gut. I said above, so it lies in the top. No
It
pun intended.
is tough, but I think I'll go with my original ranking, saying that this is above. So we'll take it to the
IMDb. It is. It's got to be Crank, right? I'm sure Crank's got a decent IMDb.
Crank's got a pretty
Crank
high.
6.9.
Crank had 6.9, which to me is kind
The
of.
Rotten Tomato score on Crank is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, we saw that. It wasn't it like 70 something.
I feel like
6.8.
creator's got to be like low sevens.
6.8.
Wow, 6.8 for the creator,
creator.
6.9 for Crank. That is a nail
There we
biter.
go.
Let's go.
True nail biter. All right. So then Crank edges out the creator.
We could put it above Last Duel. I know how you
Nope.
feel about that movie.
That
Just kidding.
This may be something where we could swindle Adam into doing that. To be honest with you, how do you feel?
The
Adam?
one extra
allow
space
it.
isn't
Yeah,
worth it.
my distaste for Last Duel is greater than that of Crank. I have
That's wild.
I'm more offended by Last Duel than I am.
Hey,
No, if you
we'll
guys want
take
to
it.
put it at 104, I you know what? I'll make an
I
exception.
feel like we got to keep it at 105 just for the sake of the list.
For
Even
sure,
even though I know it would be
for
it would be great.
authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we got to keep the integrity intact, but I would do that on the record.
Well, it's on the record, and now we
On the
know.
record.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, in case you're curious, Last Duel still sucks.
Well, I do have an idea of what when we do is it year 3, right? When we do
This
our
would be
year 3
Year
recap,
4, I
Yeah.
Year
think.
4 recap. No, when do we
Yeah.
start? Oh yeah,
2020. Yeah.
Then the
I was thinking
yeah.
of that too recently. I was like, that can't be right. 4?
Yeah, year 4 recap. It makes sense because you went their entire college career.
Right.
I have an idea of what
remind
you'll
me.
be trying to. Yeah, right. I have an idea of what you'll be trying to nudge back down there. I think you're trying to take Crank down.
No, I don't
Or
care.
Last Duel. You may.
I don't
try
care
to-
that deeply about
Last
either of
Duel
those
before
two.
that one.
I think I spent my last year's amendment moving something down. I think it's time for me to move something up this year. I haven't decided yet, but
Mhm.
I'll have to take a long, hard look at the list and see what's what. But I don't think I care too deeply about either of those movies to really
Fair
have a
enough.
strong opinion. Okay. All right. Well, then what do we say? 105 on that one? 105 for Crank. Slotted in there below The Last Duel and above The Creator. That's 105 out of 179 films. It's a lot. It's a lot of movies. The job gets
Sure.
harder every week, and it's going to get harder with next week's review of Dune Part 2, fellas. Dune Part 2. Denny V making another taking another crack at his tenure on the list, and seeing if he can crack back into that top 10. I think I kicked him out with the arrival. Is he? Oh no, he's still got Prisoners up there. He's still good. He's chilling. But maybe if he could have 2 slots in the top 10, that's pretty impressive. I don't think
Uh-oh.
anyone else does have 2 slots in the top 10. Yeah, no one else does. Oh wait, do we have two Nolans here? No, we don't. We have one Nolan with Inception. Okay. Yeah, check out Dune 2. See it in IMAX if you can. I don't know. I'm excited. I've heard good things, fellas. Heard good things.
Yeah, I've seen some rumblings on Reddit. I haven't hopped into the forum. I obviously don't want anything spoiled for me, but they are saying it's a pretty damn good film.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying.
That's all I keep hearing, and
yeah,
that's all I keep wanting to hear. So I'm
as
excited.
expected. Don't expect anything less from.
Right. All right. Yeah, check that out. Fellas, do we want to do a quick what we're watching here? We got some time, I think. I don't know. I don't have a clock on this recording now, so
sure, we can keep it quick. I'll shoot you what I've finished. I finished Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon.
I've heard that's
with Donald Glover. It's starts kind of slow. Starring Donald Glover and can't think of the other lead actress name.
Maya Erskine.
Thank you. So yeah, it's good. It's good. The first few episodes do start a little slow, where it's just kind of like, hey, here's the mission episode. Here's the mission episode. Here's the mission episode. And then once you get to about episode 4, then you kind of start to get like backstories on characters. You see their relationship grow. Paul Dano has a side character in this.
Yeah, I've heard he's great.
Yeah, so yeah, it's good, man. I'm invested. I'd watch the second season when it comes out. Yeah, not bad if you got some time to give it a shot. I also watched the Vince Staples show. So that's a really quick joint though. Yeah, it's only like 4 episodes, I think, for Netflix. So I had to use the Netflix because parents have it set up as the home account, and I'm fucking paying for it. And I just seen they're going up on their prices again. Did anybody see that? I just read that today, bro.
That's like every 6 months, I feel like.
Who?
Disgusting. Netflix.
A-holes.
Yeah, man. So I just seen they're going up on prices again. But yeah, nonetheless, had to use that.
What is their price right now? I don't pay for Netflix, so I have no reference for how much their subscriptions cost.
I've got the 4K joint with the multi screens. I want to say, and it's insane because I can't even watch it.
What did you say? You cut out.
I'm billed $21 a month
for 4K and how many?
4K and multi screens.
So I think it's like 3.
I believe so. Yeah. But obviously they set it up where if you're traveling, I do. It's a hassle.
Going up to 23. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. I think I'm gonna cancel it. I think I'm honestly it's time for me to have the talk with the parents, and I'm like, look, man, I think this is it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I got $23 for Netflix.
There's too much content on just one of these platforms for me to justify having 3 or 4 of them or to pay for them. I have most of the platforms now, but I don't really pay for a lot of them. So
yeah, I could scrap that and get Peacock for 1/4 of the price. So.
Peacock's solid, and it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, I'm still with T-Mobile, so I still get a discount through my T-Mobile account for Netflix. So I'm only paying half of what Blake is paying.
Yeah, that's at least that's more feasible.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I got to the Vince Staples show on Netflix. Pretty good. Eerily similar to Atlanta. You can see it's got a influence. So yeah, it's cool. Vince Staples, really funny guy. I'm sure they're going to get renewed on that second 4 episodes in a handful of months. So we'll see. And those are really the only 2 things I've gotten to. Then obviously it's Saturday, and my buddy Tay beats.
You cut out
Monday. I'm sorry.
You cut out. What did you say?
I said my buddy Tay is going to be joining us for Dune, because he asked me last Monday, like, "Hey, when are you going to see it with?" some of the podcast bros on there, and then he was like, "I'm just gonna tag along that shit because this weekend." So Dune on Saturday with the games, so it should be.
I don't know what
be good.
tickets look like, but we can figure something out.
He's already got it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's already got it. I think he
Yeah.
just took. I forgot what seats we had. I think he just took
okay.
like the end seat
Cool.
by one of us. So
Perfect. Yeah.
yeah, so that's all I've gotten to. Dune on Saturday. That should be awesome, and I'm sure it'll have a pretty high rank. What's the runtime? Anybody know? Is it 3?
There's going to be another
It's gotta
long
be
one.
close
It's
to 3.
246.
Yeah, figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. Ty, have you watched?
Yeah, Drive to Survive restarted. So
yeah.
Leah and I have been getting to a couple episodes of that. So that's been pretty fun. We do have Formula One starting up again this week. So that is also fun. Excuse me. I did like Adam mentioned last week, I got around to like the first 2 episodes of Halo and have not gone back to it yet. So that is
Are you
something I will
going
be
to?
working on. I think so, just because I already started it, and I'm not like one of those people that starts something and won't finish it. Like I feel like I gotta, it's.
Do you
a
want to talk
disservice
about
to
it really quick?
myself.
Because that was something I was going to bring up.
Yeah, we can. Has anybody else watched it?
No.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, save your time. It's more. It's what. It's just. I am in such a weird spot with it where I don't want to watch it because it's not good. It's just not. It's not a good show in my opinion. It's not a Halo
Yeah.
show. I try to. It's not. It's not the Halo show I want. It's not really hard. And I try to tell myself it's not going to be. It's not canon. It is just a sci-fi show. It's a sci-fi show with a Halo skin on top of it.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not a good sci-fi show, period. So, but like, I don't know. I feel like I have to watch it just for posterity's sake. Like a huge Halo fan, like I got to see it through. And so I will, but it's just, yeah, it's so it's so whatever. It could be so much better than what they gave us. And it's really frustrating.
Yeah, I would agree with most of that. I think the only thing that's been kind of helping me while I'm watching it is I just kind of try to disassociate it with Halo as much as possible.
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
Yeah,
or else I'm just gonna.
I look at it as like
punch a
a
wall.
separate kind of like sci-fi TV show.
Yeah.
It just ever since it probably didn't help that I watched some interviews with him in it, and just kind of how he tried to argue the fact that it's okay that he took his helmet off and like we're just doing something different. It's like I get it, and you're kind of doing your own thing, but like at the end of the day too, your whole argument behind not being able to like show emotion because you can't see your face, like it's just
That's not true.
completely debunked because they do it throughout the entire game. I can't tell you how much I emotionally was attached to every single Halo game, and I never saw Master Chief's face. So your argument about that is just completely irrelevant.
And it's been done in TV and movies too.
Yeah, 100%.
Mandalorian, Boba Fett, you never see his face, but he's still like kind of a cult character for a lot of Star Wars fans. Like, yeah, it just, that argument doesn't hold up for me.
No, and I think probably watching his interviews on stuff like that and him trying to argue it so hard and like that's like his main point kind of skews my look on it a little bit, and just kind of him as being Master Chief, and it's like, well, you're kind of making yourself look dumb. And it just kind of makes me mad that that's your main argument. So
I mean, at the end of the day, how they decided to make the show, there's no way that he could have, and I wouldn't want to show as they have it with just him in the suit 24/7. Like they kind of
you'd
like
have to redo
the whole
show.
dialogue and everything. Yeah, they just the choice they made for how the show was going to be. You're right. You can't have your helmet on. My point is, you should have never made the choice to make the show how it is, to the point where he has to take his helmet off.
Yeah, you should have just stuck a little bit closer to the game script and tried to keep it a little bit more canon. And I think they kind of lost a lot of viewership and just a lot of credit. So
yeah, I think it would be cool to see the Halo games done as like a trilogy of movies or a series of movies instead of a TV show. I don't think the Halo and having a Master Chief story in Halo, to me, doesn't really fit a TV show structure. They had the Forward Unto Dawn little web series that wasn't bad. That wasn't wasn't bad, but that wasn't really focused on Master Chief. He makes an appearance towards the end. But that
So
wasn't focused on Master Chief, you know?
that's actually kind of where I would like to see a TV series happen. It doesn't need to focus on Master Chief.
Right.
There's a whole game series about Master
Right.
Chief and what he's done, and I don't necessarily need you to retell that story. One of the storylines and one of the games that I constantly go back to and that I always tell people is one of my favorite things that Halo ever did was ODST.
Yeah, I was
It
about
was
to say
so
ODST as
much
well.
fun to not play as Master Chief, but still be in that same universe.
And that's another reason people like Reach too.
Yeah, and
The Reach
not
story is
have
incredible.
essentially the superpowers behind being a super soldier, and so yeah, it was
ODST,
that's where I think that you would be able to still be in the Halo universe, but succeed a lot better is being in like the ODST kind of era, or just being part of like the foot soldiers. Like that's where I see people getting a lot more interested, because I really just I don't need a TV series about Master Chief. I have hours and hours and hours of gameplay that I can go do.
I agree. The good news
So
for us, Ty, is that there is. uh, I don't know. I haven't kept updated on it, so I don't know if it's still in the works. But when the original show season debuted, some filmmakers started a GoFundMe and got it fundraised. But a Helljumper ODST movie,
yeah,
like an
fucking
independent
lit.
film. So hopefully that goes all the way through. I don't know the status of it. I don't know if it was scrapped or changed the scope or whatever. But that was a thing in development. So
See, somebody else
holding out
knows.
hope for that. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's been my experience with Halo so
Yeah,
far.
I'll finish out the show. I've only seen the first 2 episodes. From what I've heard
Yeah, I'm
from
on like
people I
2.
know that have watched the other episodes that are out, it doesn't get any better, so
I can't
I'm
imagine
not
it
really
would.
holding out. Yeah, I'm not really holding out hope.
Yeah. So yeah,
But
and
hey,
then
it is what it is.
the only other thing that I really got around to that's worth mentioning, outside of like the video games, the YouTubes and stuff like that, is Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action on
How's
Netflix.
that
I heard
going?
somebody talking about that at work the other day.
Has anybody else watched it? Nathaniel, have
I've
you?
not.
Nope.
Okay. I won't really touch on it too much because I kind of want you guys all to kind of come up with your own opinions, especially if you do plan on watching it, which I assume probably all 3 of you do plan on getting around to it at least some point.
At
Adam, you
some
might be
point.
the only one that's out, because I don't know if you really did. You did rewatch the
I
animated
did.
series, didn't you?
It
Yeah,
wasn't
okay.
until after we started the pod. It was shortly after we
I was
started,
gonna
I
say, because
think.
we all talked about it.
Yeah, it was almost right as we started the pod, because I
Yeah.
remember that came out that summer, and then I watched the bulk of it, like a full season and a half of it, while I had COVID for the first time.
Yeah, because there was a quite some time on some of these episodes where I'm pretty sure you can hear us just yelling "Secret Tunnel."
Yes, yeah, that's almost every episode, I think, for the first
So-
year. Yeah. Is there a
So,
secret
yeah.
tunnel reference in the show? I was really hoping there would be one. I don't know if there is.
So yeah, I'll let you guys get around to it. There are parts that I've thoroughly enjoyed and parts where I'm just kind of like, well, that's kind of dumb. So you'll obviously be able to make your own opinions about it. But yeah, that's the last thing I got around to. And since you and I talked about Halo, Adam, you are more than welcome to go.
Yeah, I really haven't watched too much else. Watched John Wick with my brother was in town, and he hasn't seen any of the John Wicks, so we put that on the other night, me, him, and Papa Schwartz. Can never get watch. I mean, I know I watched that like a month ago, but I can never watch that movie too many times. But I haven't been watching much besides that. I've been reading. I've been trying to finish Dune before Saturday. I've got about 50 pages left, so I should be able to finish that off. And yeah, but at night I've been kind of just reading instead of watching. I've been trying to get through that. It's been nice. It's been nice. I don't know I've started a lot of books the last few years since high school. I haven't finished a lot of books the last few years since high school. I used to read a ton, but have kind of fallen out of it. And it's been nice. I'm excited to finally like fully finish a 600 and something page book. And I already have Dune 2 on deck, so I kind of just want to go right into that because I'm interested to see where the story goes. I don't know. I know there's 6 Dune books. I don't know how far into those books this actual story goes, because I think the rest of them are kind of like Children of Dune, and like they're kind of weirdly named. I don't know. So I don't know where the story goes. I will kind of continue until I'm either tired of it or uninterested.
Fair.
yeah, like Mentats of Dune yeah. So there's a bunch of them. So we'll see what goes on in terms of the Dune series, but books really good. It's dense, man. It's dense and it's dry in some parts, no pun intended. But yeah, it gets good. I'm interested to see how this adaptation works. I think the movie is supposed to bleed into the this part 2 is supposed to bleed into the second one, and I think part 3 will be the end of the second one. I don't know where exactly that cutoff's gonna be yet. I'm trying to like think about that, but I'm excited to see how they adapt the rest of this first book. And then see where they go. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been up to. Nathaniel?
Yeah, I got to a couple different things. I don't know if we talked last week, but I finished True Detective, the new season. That was really cool. Enjoyed that.
I think you might have mentioned. I don't remember if you said you finished it, but
I know I was watching it. In terms of movies that I got to, last week I saw Drive Away Dolls, the new Coen brothers movie that came out. Well, Coen, I should say, singular. And then I also followed that up and watched Bottoms, which came out last year as well too. And those were both very good. I enjoyed them.
nice.
Also watched
Anything
Drive
else?
to Survive. But that's really been it.
I will get around to Drive to Survive soon. So many things to watch, dude. I can't keep up. I would rather Netflix stop putting out so much stuff than charge me $23 a month. Sorry, they don't charge me, but charge $23 a month. Slow down, everybody. All right, are we good here, fellas? Are we good to get on out of here?
Think so.
All right. Well, listeners, thank you all for listening. Make sure you share the podcast with a friend, a family member, maybe some dude whose heart can't stop. Maybe you gotta have him, or maybe your heart can't stop.
There you go.
And to increase your adrenaline, you need to run around the streets screaming Back Row Banter.
It could happen to
and
you,
that's-
folks.
It could happen to you. I think that's pretty good advertising, right? Like if someone like was screaming that as I walked down the street, I'd be inclined to look that up, you know?
I would.
Yeah, think about it. While you're doing that, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and our YouTube is just Back Row Banter. And then our email for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, or anything of that sort, it's going to be backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. I'm going to kick it on over to Nathaniel. Where can the people find you at, my man?
You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd and at NS Gingrich, and you can find me on Instagram at NathanielG92. Tyler.
Letterboxd, Instagram, and X are all Tyler Dallas. VID, ALES. Blake.
Yo, Letterboxd, BlakeHolder, all beyond their logs of things, gave Crank a decent rating. PlayStation, PSN, Mr. Water Cooler, Mr. Water Coolers, beyond. We'll see. That's about it. Am I last? Adam.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Aish24, on Letterboxd at Aish. I think that's going to do it for episode 182. Thank you all for listening, especially if you made it this far into the episode. You're my favorite type of listener. And of course, we really, truly do appreciate it. Join us for our review of Dune Part 2 next week. We'll be RB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Okay, so back on the weird questions we have. What can we beat, right, as humans? So
sure.
on today's one I have for you is, what animal do you think, like, where do you think the cap is if we had to beat an animal, but it has to weigh more than all of us combined?
Wait,
No tools, no weapons.
Are all 4 of us fighting it?
Yes,
Okay, but it has to weigh more than
So-
us.
all of us.
a body mass matchup are 4 body weights combined. How much are gorillas? Could we
I
take
am
on
not
a
fighting a
gorilla?
gorilla.
Yeah, I don't think I'm 1v4.
4 of us.
Or 4v1 in
No.
a gorilla.
No.
You like your odds on that, Adam?
No.
No, I don't.
Oh, I was gonna say. But yeah, I don't know. Tough. Because the thing, you got a ballpark, right? The thing's got to at least be around 800 pounds.
I was gonna say we're combined ballparking 800 pounds easy.
Right.
Which like
And then you start looking at 800-pound animals. It's like, ooh,
is a horse 800 pounds? I don't know what's a good.
horse has got to be more than 800 pounds.
No, a horse is much more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think the 4 of us could take
But I
down a
also,
horse?
oh, fuck, man.
Horse is 930.
I don't know. I mean,
I-
yeah, probably one of us is dying for sure.
Right. There's casualties.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's why it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
know, man.
anything equaling 800
know,
pounds, like there's
ba-
gonna be a casualty. I
Bear,
don't think
keeping in
we
mind,
walk away.
I don't know how to
all
kill
4
a
of us.
horse barehanded. Like
No, that's what I'm saying. We have no weapons either, fellas.
That's like
It's-
we gotta
it's-
chase it off a cliff or something.
I don't know. Is there an animal that weighs 800 pounds that we could kill? Like at 800 pounds, that
so we
animal is
can-
so large. I don't know how we would kill it with our bare
I
hands.
mean that's the thing, I guess, right?
We can also think of it as like different variations of said animal. So even though it might be like a grizzly bear, that's not my pick by any means, but let's just say it is a
Right,
grizzly bear. It doesn't have to be a full grown grizzly bear. It could be a
An 800
teenaged or
pound.
younger version of that animal,
Right,
and it just has to
right.
weigh that amount.
Sure.
But from a quick Google search, some moose can weigh somewhere right around there. They're in between 840 and 1,500 pounds.
I don't know if we're taking down a moose.
A moose
No,
is
moose is
so
a
big,
big-
though,
bro,
man.
they're
Yeah.
There's a
you seen
yak
them
is
next to
anywhere
pickup trucks?
from. Sorry.
Have you seen those photos of or videos of moose and next to
Oh, yeah,
pickup
bro.
trucks? Like,
My grandpa's,
bro.
my grandpa's killed a moose. They don't fuck around.
no. I
See, like,
don't
but
wanna
like
fuck
this
with
is the whole. I guess, like, to Adam's point, this is the whole. We are fighting nature at this point. Like, the reason animals grow that big is so that they can't be killed easily. Like, you
Right.
know,
You'd have to think anything that's north of 800 pounds
it's just
is
a
like,
nougaty animal,
for sure. The only things taking that down are like true apex predators
right?
of
And
like certain ecosystems,
Right.
not even just the
Humans-
apex predator of
That's-
like fucking Illinois.
that's why we have
That's
tools.
a coyote.
Right, I was gonna say that's why
Right.
humans are where we are, is because we have tools, not because we were physically capable of ever kind of conquering any other animal. We have tools that help us.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine an 800-pound human?
Isn't that that's been a
Okay,
thing
so
before,
then
right?
if
What's
we
the
don't,
heaviest?
Yeah, but one that's like
Someone's ever weighed.
active.
ooh,
Like it's an actual.
be a gorilla. Close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then if we don't think we can KO or take down anything north of 800, what if it was an animal that's actually smaller than that, but we just enlarged it to 800 pounds? So, for example, like an 800-pound frog. However, I think I'd still be afraid of an 800-pound frog, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying is I don't know if there's any
A
animal at
duck.
800 pounds.
An
Duck.
800-pound dude. The bill
No.
on that thing though would be so
And the
powerful.
wingspan, if it just
Yeah.
flaps wing at you, that's 200 pounds coming at your face, bro.
Yeah.
Penguin.
Penguin.
Fuck.
But if
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if I don't like genuinely. I don't know if there's an animal at 800 pounds. That's if they're actively trying to kill us. Like it's
I think I'm leaning close with Adam on this one. If it's like bloodlust,
that might be
I don't think we can.
that
take
might
down
be
any on it.
unwinnable. Because like ducks, even like their like beaks and their teeth, like at 800 pounds, that's huge. They'll take off your arm. You know,
Might be losing an arm for the team.
It might be
losing
able
more
to
than
like
that,
swallow you in one gulp. To be honest with you,
Going to get my gun.
Scaling that up,
Close.
dude, to 800 pounds. Like,
Yeah, it'd be
it's
close,
good.
man.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So I think we're taking an L, fellas. This is the first
mean,
L
most
we've
of-
taken in
yeah,
any of
most
these
of the time.
hypothetical situations.
I think so.
Yeah,
Well,
that
I feel like we can
I
draw
think we
something
just
up.
genuinely agree that we'd lose, and I think we leave it there. Because
What about like an 800-pound sloth?
have you seen the claws on the sloth?
Yeah, but they don't necessarily use them for that, and they're still going to be slow as fuck.
Yeah, right. You may time may be on to something.
I mean,
That's
again,
our best.
I think
That's
it's
our
like,
best chance of all the animals we've named so far.
or it's like you say, it's like we have to outrun it or something like that, or run it to death, or get it to.
If there's a timer on this, like
yeah,
you
or
have to, we have
like
to last a certain amount of time.
or
There are
again,
winnable situations there.
trick
What
it
about like an
into.
800-pound, like an 800-pound like earthworm?
There you go. Trick it into running off a cliff.
You know what I mean?
If it's an Alaskan, you say
Yeah, but then
if you're gonna let me pick the win, then
saying it's an Alaskan.
I don't want to have to like
What's
stomp on that.
what's my man's name in SpongeBob? The Alaskan bullworm.
Alaskan bullworm. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh.
However, an 800-pound earthworm, that thing would be massive.
huge.
Yeah.
It's a
Or
tremor.
how much damage could we inflict on it if we had?
That's what I was
those
gonna say. Is like I don't really think we could step on it. Like I think
There's
it's
no
gonna be-
way, dude. I
Right.
don't even. I can't even fathom the scale of that thing at 800 pounds.
right.
Right? That's got to be
Unless it's like it stays
hundreds
a
of feet long.
certain wait, either long or it's like either way it's
It's just
getting
really
dense,
fat.
it's getting too long. Like there's-
right.
I don't know. I don't think there's a good win.
I
there
mean,
anyway.
that one you gotta like lure it into like the Terminator ending, like into an industrial park
Right.
with a big squisher somewhere.
Spoilers, but right.
Yeah. It's like trimmers,
That's what we were saying. Tremors.
Basically.
Yeah.
basically.
Or like Dune.
Could be
Or
like
Dune.
Dune. Could be like
Yeah.
Dune.
It all comes back to Dune.
Speaking of which, should we kick it off here?
Yeah.
We'll take an L this week, fellas. We gotta redeem ourselves.
Yeah.
Next week.
the L this week. We do.